What is up, everybody? Emergency vacation edition of the Purple and Gold podcast here on Wednesday, June the 10th, coming at you from outside a cabin in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Had to jump on to talk about LSU baseball in the transfer portal. Last week, they added a shortstop from Texas State, Dawson Park, who is the number 13 player on the Baseball America transfer portal rankings. Park played second base his freshman year at Texas State, started majority of games at shortstop last year, hit 13 home runs, led the team in home runs and RBIs. Had a little bit of a incident towards the end of the season in May. Him and a teammate got into it in the dugout. He left the team, was dismissed, however you want to look at that. Didn't play the last few games and then entered the transfer portal. The word is he was entering the portal anyway, and Texas State never formally dismissed him from the team. But I trust that Jay Johnson wouldn't add any bad apples to this locker room. So I'm sure Jay Johnson and the staff did a good job of vetting that out prior to accepting Dawson Park's commitment. Then it was Landon Hood, the number 2 player in the portal, a freshman reliever from Gonzaga. He was the West Coast Conference Freshman of the Year. I do believe he profiles and has the profile of a starting pitcher. He is eligible for 2 more years to play at LSU, and as I said, he was the number 2 player in the transfer portal. And then this morning, the news broke that LSU has added the number 1 player in the transfer portal, all ACC outfielder Bino Waters. Waters is a big guy, 6'2", 215. He's a little bit of a power hitter, 12 home runs. He doesn't strike out a lot. He's only struck out 60-something times in 2 years. He was an all ACC player, and he was the number 1 player in the portal, and LSU outbid, outlasted, and out-recruited Texas for the services of Bino Waters. He solves 2 problems. He solves one of your outfield spots, and he adds a left-hand hitting bat to some of your returnees, like Kate Aaron Beatty and Omar Cerna, who bat from and John Pearson, who all bat from the right side. All eyes point to more transfer portal additions. How many more and at what level, I don't know. When you sign 3 of the top 13, including 1 and 2 in the portal, I have to assume some money was being spent. I also have to assume some money will be allocated to trying to keep as many of the draft picks out of high school in the recruiting class as they can, to try and keep a few of those folks away from Major League Baseball and in LSU's recruiting class. LSU does need left-hand pitching. They could use another starter. They could use another outfielder. I'm sure there will be other additions. I don't know if they would be this high profile. That remains to be seen. No additional updates on guys like Derek Curiel, Stephen Milam. Look, I expect all of those guys to be gone. I know there are rumors about Curiel. I know there are rumors about Jake Brown. I know Stephen Milam may not be as high of a draft pick as he wants to be, or maybe that Jay Johnson thinks he is, saying he's going to get $2 million. I don't see that, but I think he'll ultimately sign for mid to high 6 figures. I don't expect Stephen Milam to be back. It would be great if he was. Dawson Park could slide over to third base potentially. He could slide over to second base potentially. Certainly LSU will make the necessary efforts to keep Stephen Milam, but I don't expect any of those guys to be back. A little bit of football news. Obviously, LSU's been tearing it up on the recruiting trail, and they're going to have another big recruiting weekend this weekend, including running back Trey Martin being on campus. That's an LSU-Florida battle. LSU, of course, had 4 football commits in 24 hours earlier this week, coming off of the last star-studded recruiting weekend, including the number 8 player in the class, and edge rusher KJ Green, to replace the edge they lost when Jaden Bryant flipped his commitment from LSU to Miami. One last bit of news here. Brian Kelly has gotten a consulting job at the University of Memphis. No word yet on payment or how he will be paid or if he will be paid. It's possible it could be an unpaid consulting job. This is just one step closer, though, to Brian Kelly getting back into coaching. My gut says Brian Kelly will sit this 1 year out, do some consulting, visit with people, continue to do his AI research, continue to do his the things he needs to do or thinks he needs to do to get back into coaching. I believe Brian Kelly will be back in coaching next year, and I believe he'll get a decent contract that will hopefully help to offset some of the money that LSU owes him. That'll pretty much do it for me today from Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Can't tell you enough how big the Bino Waters transfer is. To get Bino Waters and Landon Hood and Dawson Park, I think we all knew Jay Johnson was going to go ham in this transfer portal based on LSU missing the NCAA tournament and the timeline of those events, and certainly that has taken place. So far, it's only June the 10th. Again, I suspect LSU will add quite a number of players through the transfer portal. We'll see what ranking they are and how expensive they might be. That'll wrap it up for us today on the Purple and Gold podcast. As always, be good to one another. As always, boot up, and always, 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 go Tigers.